President Trump has been back in office for just over 2 weeks, and he has already transformed the U.S. government. Since his inauguration on January 20th, the president has signed more than 36 executive orders. His administration has also ramped up ICE raids and migrant arrests, fired hundreds of federal employees, overhauled foreign aid, and implemented hefty tariffs on the United States' three largest trading partners, Mexico, Canada, and China. The tariffs, of course, on Mexico and Canada are on pause for the next month. But the president's moves have some lawmakers and government workers wondering whether all of this is legal. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson is here to help us answer that. She's a professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. So, Jessica, there's a conservative constitutional theory known as the unitary executive. What is it, and how might the Trump administration be utilizing it?
Well, it's the idea that the president is ultimately the one who has complete authority over the executive branch. And the most controversial part of this theory is the idea that the president has unfettered discretion to remove people who work for the executive branch. This is certainly an issue that is at the top of a lot of people's minds right now, particularly because, as you just clearly laid out, we are seeing a number of firings and or forced resignations. And the theory extends beyond just firing to issues like giving the president maximum authority without congressional interference to take care to faithfully execute the laws. But the area where we see the most litigation and likely the most movement right now is this idea that the president can fire who he wants to as long as they were an executive agency employee.
I want to dive into this further, but first off, how has the Supreme Court recently paved the way for this expansion of presidential powers?
Yeah, so in one case, a case that you and I got to talk about recently, the presidential immunity decision was obviously the Supreme Court showing a broad embrace of executive authority. And that was a case where the court said, for lack of a better way of describing it, we need to kind of bubble wrap the president. So when it comes to any decisions that the president makes that are official conduct, you are absolutely immune from criminal prosecution. Obviously, that isn't about hiring and firing, but it's part of this idea that the president is very powerful and deserving of protection. And it follows on a Nixon era decision where the court said when it comes to civil cases, and the president is sued based on official conduct, there is absolute immunity from civil liability. Another recent case dealt with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, where the court, back to hiring and firing, said that part of how the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was structured, and specifically how the director could only be removed for cause, that actually violated the Constitution because the president, as head of the executive branch, should be able to more easily remove that director.
Jessica, we've been hearing a lot about DOGE and Elon Musk. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the Department of Government Efficiency is neither a real government agency, nor does it have authority to make spending decisions and shut down government programs. So what legal authority does DOGE have? We know that Musk at least had a very vocal role in wanting to shut down USAID.
Well, I think that's right. Vocal role. And what we've heard from President Trump, my interpretation is that he is getting recommendations from Elon Musk and the DOGE. But there is and or should be an understanding that the DOGE and Elon Musk cannot say, we are now going to fold USAID into the State Department, for instance. There are a lot of concerns about the amount of, or I should say, there's some concerns about the amount of access that DOGE has to financial information and potentially other sensitive information. But in terms of that department's ability to say, we are now reorganizing the executive branch, that's really not a decision they can make. And frankly, the bigger legal question is, can President Trump, by executive order, do things like try and reorganize USAID? I think there are some statutes that might stand in the way of his ability to do so.
All right, Jessica Levinson, we appreciate you. Thank you.